I remember watching MTV. They were having something called Spanking New Music Week, and every day they were spotlighting new music from huge artists. And I was waiting for Whitney's day. She was promoting My Love Is Your Love, and what was his name? Norris. John Norris had brought her out onto the TRL set, and she spent the day at MTV. And then a super fan had the awesome and jealousy-inspiring opportunity to sit with our dear girl. And Quencie, you were that fan. And like, yo, you were speaking to her through us. And I was so excited and so happy for you. You know what I mean? Like, through you, she saw how much her fans really loved her, you know, and just really appreciated her. You know, you had the albums. I remember like it was yesterday. You had the albums and all that, and you entertained her and put a smile on her face. And then I followed you thereafter. You're an amazing interviewer. You know, you're so good at what you do. And then the times when you would see Whitney later on, she always knew who you were and always welcomed you, you know, right up until the end with a hug and a smile. You know, you are the embodiment of not even a fan, like family. You know, you appreciated her, you loved her, you know, you spoke for all the fans. So I always had so much respect and admiration and love for you. And I'm like, yo, if I get the chance, we gonna talk Nippy, we gonna celebrate our girl, we gonna go there. So it is my honor to be here with you. All the bugs have been worked out. Here we are. I'm so happy to be talking. Straight up.
And I just want to tell everybody that Dion and I met in the comment section. Okay? I had no idea that this man, he's the host of a show on SiriusXM. He just interviewed Coco Jones this past weekend. Okay? Did a great job at that.
Thank you.
What else I know about you? You went to Syracuse.
See, I
okay?
told you you're so good at what you do. See that? You see that?
I said, I got to find out something about him. What I love is you an Aries man, because my mama's an Aries.
Come on now. April 3rd. Yes.
Yeah. And that beautiful dog, Rain. That beautiful dog.
That is my girl. That is my girl. Look at you. Is mom a March Aries or an April Aries?
The April Aries.
Good. There's a difference.
Are you?
You know? There's a
Is
difference.
it a difference? What are you?
I'm April 3rd. I'm an April Aries.
She's
yes.
April 6th. She's right there with you.
Yes. Good peoples. Kind, generous, but don't cross them.
Don't. Look, straightforward too.
You already know. You already know.
No BS. We don't need no appetizers. Y'all go straight to the full meal.
Yes. We are a main course type of people. You know us very well.
Yes. Oh my God, it's such a pleasure. Like the fact this is what I love the internet for, that you could connect with people, you know,
absolutely,
who are fantastic just in the comment section, in the DMs, on a live.
Absolutely. Like I follow you, and you know all your Whitney lives and conversations. I'm like, yo, she is speaking through me. You know, much like yourself, fan from the beginning.
Tell us about you and your connection to Whitney, that you would even connect with me on that level.
I can remember MTV at its prime, and this beautiful, you know, young 20-year-old Black woman, you know, being on MTV when there were close to no. I mean, there was Tina Turner, there was Michael Jackson, but you can count them on one hand the number of, you know, Black creatives on MTV. And I remember the first time I heard the voice and just thought, like, I've never heard a voice so pure, singing music so effortlessly. And the music videos at the time that were, you know, so aligned with an artist's career back in the mid 80s, you know, when you saw her and you connected her visually to what you were hearing sonically, It was just unbelievable. You know,
Mm-hmm.
this powerful voice came out of this statuesque, just beautiful young lady.
Yeah.
And I just remember that from the very beginning. I remember looking at the liner notes. I didn't know where East Orange, New Jersey was. I'm from Baltimore. I never been to East Orange. I barely even eat oranges. But through Whitney and those liner notes, I knew exactly where she was from. I knew the name of those
Yes.
cats, Misty and Misty Blue. Like, just
Come
too
on,
much.
you a real one.
Look,
You a real one.
too much. As a lover of music, right?
Yeah.
I love music. I've loved music my whole life, and I'm so blessed to be in a career that amplifies my love of music.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working for radio now for 30 years.
Can't y'all hear his voice, y'all? Can't y'all hear it? It's
Thank you.
silky. Go ahead.
I've loved music. I'm 6'4" and can't play basketball, so I gotta have some kind of talent, right? And this is it. This is it. It's been so personally satisfying and uplifting to me to be able to celebrate Whitney in my professional life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I I was in college radio when The Bodyguard came out. I was the program director in Baltimore when the Exhale soundtrack came out, and the Preacher's Wife soundtrack, and My Love Is Your Love. I played Whitney. I supported Whitney.
Mm-hmm.
And even now, the estate has a very great relationship with SiriusXM. That's how I
Oh,
was
good.
invited to the screening last week, and just been a lifelong fan. Can I just show you my mug real quick?
Please show us anything. Oh, love it. I think I saw that on the internet somewhere. Would you get it off of not Etsy?
It was a gift.
I seen that. I think I
Yes,
seen that on Etsy, you
it was a
guys.
gift, and I ain't even gonna flex. I ain't gonna hold you, but it came with a sweatshirt too.
Oh, that is bomb. That
Right.
is the bomb. Not
Yes.
a matching cup. That's so nice.
Yes.
And it's her iconic looks as
Yes.
well.
And we all know each look. Like what each look where each look is from. Like, come
Yep.
on.
All of them. Oh my gosh, the bodyguard. Oh
I want to
wow.
dance. Right.
I want to
All
dance.
of them. All the
Yes.
moments.
I'm your baby tonight. Come on.
So, just a lifelong fan. And before we get into the movie,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you real quick my Whitney story. I met her once in my career.
Please. We can't even. I was gonna ask you that. I was like, I mean, you couldn't have been the radio the program director and with all of these and never ever ran into her.
So it was an event that I wasn't even supposed to be at. Quincy, I wasn't even supposed to be. I had no business at this event. It was Soul Train Awards weekend in 2001. And
Where?
I actually missed my flight out of Baltimore to LA.
Okay.
So I'm already salty, right? I missed my flight. I got there late. I had tickets to Mr. Dalvin.
That Jodeci.
Yes, I'm about to take it back. Mr. Dalvin was hosting an album release party.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember a song from the album. I couldn't tell you a single. I couldn't tell you near album cut. But somehow this man was having an album release party at the Playboy Mansion that weekend.
Okay.
So there was a shuttle leaving from LAX to the Playboy Mansion for the party. I missed my flight, therefore I missed the shuttle. So I'm really salty. At the airport, I run into Jamie Foster Brown.
Sister. Tell me I ain't old.
Amazing Jamie Foster Brown.
Yes.
Who I was a friend of ours through the radio station, and I knew a devout Whitney fan which will come in handy later in the story. So Jamie sees us in the airport. She's like, "Where you guys headed?" Like, well, we were going to the Devontae album party. Dalvin album party, but we missed the shuttle. Yeah. Oh, I'm going there too. You can ride with me. See? So we're there. Love it. So let me tell you. So we get to the party, and it's a virtual who's who of that guy from that movie, that woman from that show. Wow. Oh my God, it's so and so. Oh my God, it's such and such. All these stars here to see this hear this music. Again, I couldn't tell you notes about the song, any song that night. So I looked toward the direction of the bar. Mm-hmm. Quencie, my heart stopped. At the bar are Whitney and Bobby. At this party I wasn't supposed to be at this party I was almost not going to be at, I see Whitney and Bobby. I immediately walk over to Jamie. I said, Jamie, I know this isn't that kind of party, but you know how much I love Whitney Houston. Can you please have me meet her? Can you please introduce me to her? Yes. So Jamie walks over toward the bar, and I see this. And I see Whitney go, not the okay, yes. I get the nod. I get the yes. I get the approval. So Whitney and Jamie walk over to me, and I rehearse this in my head to the point where I can recite it to you, 23 years later. Jamie walks over and says, "Oh, Whitney, I want you to meet a friend of mine. This is Dion. He's a radio programmer from Baltimore. Dion, this is Whitney Houston." I say, "I've been a fan of yours since the beginning, and it's an honor to finally meet you." Mm. Just like that. Perfection. When I tell you, obviously yeah. She gave the biggest, warmest smile. Mm-hmm. How are you, Dion? Are you having a good time? Isn't this music great? Again, I don't know any song played that night. But Whitney Houston asked me, isn't the music great? Mm. So I said, it is great, isn't it? She said, yes, I know. And she was so warm and so inviting and so real, just so real that night. Jamie would later say, Whitney, do you mind if I get a picture? Because you know, Jamie back in the day, before the days of camera phones, Jamie would have a disposable at the ready for the magazine. Mm-hmm. Whitney agreed. What? Look at there! Finally, somebody taller than Whitney. Right. Yes! That is actually a beautiful... Look at there! Was you going crazy? What were you feeling? It was an out-of-body experience. For a few seconds. Everybody ain't got a picture with Whitney Houston. Put it back up there for a few seconds. Dion and Whitney. What was the year? 2001 Soul Train Awards weekend. And if you notice, her smile. Yes. She is literally talking to Jamie through her teeth. What was she saying? Oh my God. So this was March. And Bobby Christina's birthday was this weekend. And she was talking to Jamie about Bobby Chris's party happening later on that weekend. Oh. And giving her the details about Bobby Chris's birthday party that weekend. Oh my gosh. Yes. She was talk smiling. She was talk smiling. Yeah, that's going so. Yeah, you got to make it. It's going to be a great party. You got to come down. Oh, yeah. Yes. Man, I'm surprised you ain't got it blown up a little bigger. Oh. There's more than one of these. There's several of these. And people that follow me on social media, people that follow me know that every August 9th, this thing goes up.
They gonna
Trust.
see that picture. Yes,
Trust.
I love it. The
Yeah.
story was awesome. Like, but what were you feeling? Like, were you, because you're seeing celebrities all the time for what you do, but of course there's special ones. So what were you feeling in that moment? Because to even be able to ask Jamie to do that, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll tell you one word, Quincy. It was relief because
Mm.
I've been blessed at that point to meet a lot of A-list stars, a lot of celebrities, and I
Mm-hmm.
pretty much accept whatever the vibe is going to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I accept how the vibe is going to be. I've met A-listers who've been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I've met A-listers who've been
Yeah.
not so amazing, right?
Right.
So, and the fact that this is a private party. This isn't a party where fans
Yep.
be fanning, right?
Yep.
So I totally expected, number one, for Whitney to say no. And I would have been okay stalking her from afar the entire night. I would have been okay just being like,
That's her.
the entire night. I would have been cool with
Yeah.
that. So when she said yes and when she allowed me in at
Mm.
this private moment, Bobby's over there, the music is pumping. It's a big outdoor sexy event. When
Mm-hmm.
she said yes and when she
Yeah.
said it's cool, a feeling of relief because what would have affected me a bit, no lie,
Yes.
was if in meeting the woman that I had been
Mm-hmm.
so enamored with,
Mm-hmm.
and if I would have gotten, some negativity, some pushback, some,
It would have sunk in.
yeah,
It would have sunk
but
in.
would I still love her? Absolutely. But would
Yes.
it have
Yes.
marred my love slightly?
Because
Probably.
you're
But
human. You're
yeah,
human.
but the opposite happened. The fact that she was so embracing made me love
Yes.
her even more.
Yes. Come on.
And so when I read stories like you and your Whitney experience, when
Mm-hmm.
I read stories and see social media clips of people like Coco from SWV, people like Faith Evans,
Mm-hmm.
people like Kelly Price, people
Mm-hmm.
like Mary, just talking about the Whitney that we don't know, the Whitney
Yes.
that was Monica, the Whitney that was so embracing and
Mm-hmm.
so loving and so giving and so caring. I'm blessed to say I have one of those stories too,
Ah,
and I can vouch for that.
how special is that
Yeah,
too? Because she's one of the greats. Like, she literally looks like Marvin Gaye. You know what I mean? Like, she's one of the greatest voices of all time. And to say that you met her, that you experienced warmth, like, everybody can't say that, and it's a special moment, man. I'm
yeah.
so happy for you. I was
Thank
I
you.
was praying. I was praying that you have gotten to meet her, because I was like, come on, all these
Yeah.
people you done met. I'm just praying that you had an opportunity to have met her once or twice.
And after that, I wasn't taking nothing from nobody. These little, one hit wonders that be coming to my radio station, trying to flex. I'm like, get out of here, man. Get out of here. If
Right?
if the greatest artists of our generation, you know, came across as engaging and full of life and open and kind, ain't no way with you with a song that we just started playing last week is gonna give me shade. Like that's not gonna happen. You know,
Thank
the
you. I'm so glad you said
the
that. That
bar
needs
is
to be said.
eternally raised. Say it
Come
again?
on. I'm so happy you said that, because you work in it, you're meeting people every day, you're playing music, you know exactly what's hot, you know who just broke last week, whose record is about to break. So you have a real good sense of the pulse of how people are, because you ain't just listening to their music, you also getting to talk to them,
Yeah,
see them.
and you can tell, Whitney is that rare air of A-list icons. I've been blessed to meet a few, and they all are kind and endearing and
Mm-hmm.
respectful and
Mm-hmm.
polite. And
Mm-hmm.
as somebody that's been in the game for a minute, you don't see that much with the artists out right now.
Okay.
There's a level of expectation and a level
Mm.
of disrespect that you don't get from the greats.
No,
And that's why the greats are the greats.
thank you.